The story is told, though who can say if it be true, of a clan of medieval warriors awoken in modern-day Manhattan, of the animated series that told their story.
It is an age of darkness. Superstition and the sword rule. It is an age of fear. It is the age of gargoyles.
Welcome to Voices from the Eyrie, a Gargoyles podcast.
This is Night Watch, reporting from New York,
Travis Marshall. Tonight, more on the news that has rocked Manhattan, if not the world.
And welcome to First Impressions, Gargoyles fans, and in our first 2026 episode of Voices from the Eyrie. I know I said we're going to come back sooner. I apologize. This is me. I got sick. It incapacitated me for about a week. My eyes swelled up like the monarch after he had an allergic reaction to a fancy salad. So that wasn't fun. But we're trying to get back on track, and hopefully we'll stay on track. And in the meantime, we have first impressions of this really fun crossover to talk about. Gargoyles meets Darkwing Duck, issue 1. Jen, do you have a first impression of this issue?
First of all, the art is amazing. The art and the color, just so great. And it's just I'm in. Like, this just yoinked me right in. I think it's absolutely adorable. And all the corny jokes that I expected.
Agreed, especially on the art.
Yeah.
My first impression is, when I first heard about this, we heard about this around the same time we heard about the Fantastic Four crossover, and my initial thoughts were, okay, FF, I can see that, but Darkwing? Really? These are so tonally apart, and we've had the 2 issues of Gargoyles Fantastic Four, and now we have, at the time of this recording, 2 issues of this, and this is not a knock on the first crossover, but I like this one better. It just...
I
like those.
It's not a competition.
Both.
I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is, but I like this one better. I think part of it is, and this is such a weird word to use for this concept of all things, but there's also a lot of restraint to it. I mean, the FF crossovers were kind of everything in the kitchen sink. This feels a little bit more focused, and does it feel like an episode of Gargoyles? No. Does it feel like an episode of Darkwing Duck? Hell yeah, it does. I could see this airing on the Disney Afternoon back in the 90s.
I mean, I don't think it's that far off from Gargoyles either, honestly.
No, I mean, it feels right. It feels right. But overall, my first
impression... Like we didn't have cannons with the shot pies, you know?
Exactly.
How perfect is it that the first impressions of issue 1 of this is now attached to our Vendettas review with the pie discussion. We have a very in-depth pie discussion there, but still.
Definitely a pie thing happening right now.
I like pie. And I like pie.
I famously like pie.
I was like, as I'm reading it, I was like, how is this actually going to work? And then I loved the whole exchange with Morgana and Demona. That was so good. And we finally get to the rest of the Gargoyles crew, and it was like, was that a duck-billed rocket jet? I was in.
Demona's really hamming it up.
Oh, it's great. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. And I can hear all the voice actors.
Exactly.
And it's not just Jim Cummings' Darkwing that I hear his music.
We get some Eek and Squeak.
And Archie.
Everybody gets to make a little appearance.
But no, it's
and of
just
course, the love of my life, Launchpad.
Launchpad McQuack. Any landing you can walk away from. Hopefully, it'll be even more of him in coming issues.
There it is.
Excellent. Well, you, Greg, any thoughts on issue 1 you want to share?
Yeah, we the first round of color came in, and it was all very bright and very dark wing-esque, I guess. But Tad and I both felt like, we can make this darker. Not, content-wise, but just literally coloring-wise. We can give it a little more mood that fits both series well. So I was really thrilled with the sort of second pass on the coloring here. I think it turned out really great. I also, I was not allowed to use the Beagle Boys, which is what I wanted to do.
I like
so I made up the Bassett brothers instead, and named them after 3 of the Bassett hounds that we had when my kids were kids, actually kids. So the Abraham, Norman, and Murray were our 3 of our 6 Bassett hounds. The other 3 were Hermione, Poppy, and Sam. But these are the brothers, so these are the Bassett brothers. So we'll do the Bassett sisters similar.
Excellent.
But yeah, I just Ted and I did the plot, but I got to do the script, and it was just a lot of fun for me to sort of be able to cut loose on the comedy and not have to take things all that seriously. And got some great feedback from Tad, and it plussed it all. We just had a really good time.
So far, so good.
There are a bunch of Easter eggs for Gargoyles fans.
Absolutely. All of them.
Yeah, probably fewer for Darkwing fans, because I'm just not as in depth there. But there's a lot of great crossover stuff. And it's definitely certainly issue 1, it's more Darkwing focused. Why it doesn't really come in for the last third. But yeah, I think Damone is hamming it up, but I also felt like I could totally hear Marina doing it. It didn't feel like it was out of character for her in any way. She has those moments certainly in our show. So it was fun. Little romantic moment with Goliath and Elisa. That's sort of sweet.
Yeah.
So good stuff. I'd say.
Well,
completely immodestly.
Well, we agree. I cannot wait to do the deep dive in a couple of years when we get there. I mean, obviously it's not an announcement of any kind because we haven't even made contact with them. But when we do the deep dive in a couple of years, I hope we have Tad on board for that too.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
All right. So thank you, Gargoyles fans, and stick around for our discussion on Vendettas.
This has been Night Watch. Sleep well.
Welcome back, Gargoyles fans. Welcome to 2026 and another episode of Voices from the Eyrie, a Gargoyles podcast. I'm your co-host, Greg Bashansky, and joining me as usual is my partner in crime, Jennifer L. Anderson.
Hi, everyone.
And there's her biggest fan here. Right there. You can hear him woohooing. How are you today, Jen?
I'm tired.
Status quo. We're
and
all tired.
Cold. Oh my gosh, is it cold?
Oh, I'm cold too. I haven't left my house in 3 days. I finally just dug my car out. I'm in New York. We just got hit by this huge blizzard that came through. So, did you get it?
I almost put a long sleeve T-shirt on today.
Yeah, it was 74.
My God, I hope you have a stockpile of supplies.
Man, this thing covered half the country. Did it hit you?
We've been in single digits like all weekend long. So we got some snow, but not a lot, huh?
You're in Colorado somewhere?
Yeah, I'm in Denver.
Yeah, you guys got it for
sure. We don't. It gets cold here, but we don't get a lot of snow.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, just as a demonstration, she's not just my partner in crime when it comes to this podcast. She's kind of one for my everyday life. Just the other day when this whole thing started and we were in single digits, close to -3, below 0, I was chatting with her on Discord, and at one point she mentioned run in the water on your pipes so your pipes don't freeze. So I get up at 2:00 in the morning and I go and make sure that the water's running so the pipes don't explode.
Yeah, Kit is in Texas. My daughter Sydney's in Texas, and it's they were both getting freezing temperatures, and I'm like, look, kids, this is what you got to do. Just let that water trickle. You don't want pipes exploding.
It's good to know this California girl, transplanted though she is, knows how to do this shit.
Oh my gosh.
I have a feeling she drives better in the snow than I do these days also. But anyway, so we're...
I drive better than you when there's no snow.
That ain't a high bar. Driving better than Vishansky. It's not a high bar.
It was 20 years ago, Greg. It was 20 years ago, 22 years ago. It's old enough.
Love it every time I bring that up.
Yes, I do. All right. So, and to our listeners, as you can tell, we're really having fun tonight. Rejoining us as usual is the creator of Gargoyles and the voice director for this episode, Mr. Greg Weisman.
Hello, everyone.
And we're also joined by the regular voice director for Gargoyles, who's going to critique what Greg may have done here, Mr. Jamie Thomason.
Nothing but love for the voice director of this episode.
He was also still credited as the voice casting director.
Casting. That was kind of them.
And joining us is the writer and narrator of this episode, Mr. Cary Bates. Have you guys noticed whenever Jamie comes on the show, this shit happens?
Sidetracked hard.
It's me. I was going to say, when you said she's not just my partner in crime in this podcast, I thought the next sentence was she's my partner in actual crime. Like we knocked
over a bank. Yeah.
That's true in the Gargoyles universe, apparently, although we work for different syndicates, technically. Seneca and Jayla.
I forgot about us.
They got matching tattoos, I'll tell you that.
Yes,
want to know where or
we
what?
do.
And I have a tattoo that she drew on top of that.
Oh, God. I really don't want to know where.
All right. Okay. First, a little bit of an announcement. People are starting to get the shipping notices for their Dynamite Gargoyles Kickstarter books.
Yep.
I got mine. I got my soft cover trio, all 3 volumes for the SLG and Marvel eras. And I don't mean comps. I got the ones that I ordered through the Kickstarter.
Well,
then they are on their way.
Yeah, I ordered the soft and the hard covers, but I haven't received the shipping notice yet. Although Dynamite today was nice enough to send us out a photograph of everything in crates in the truck.
Like they really exist, guys.
It really exists. So yeah, that's the only news we have for today. So before we discuss the voice directing for this episode, we're gonna talk about we're entering tier 5 of Gargoyles, and Cary, you were a story editor, so this also definitely involves you. Do you remember that the show was beginning to wind down? And so what was it like, Greg, entering this final tier, Greg and Cary, this final tier of episodes?
Well, the big thing that happened is originally the 3-part Hunter's Moon was supposed to be a direct to VHS movie. And just as we were pulling into the tier 5 station, do people remember what the tiers mean? Have we talked about that in the last 20 episodes?
No, we haven't.
So we had these tiers, and we talk about season 1 being tier 1, and then tiers 2 through 5 were season 2. And the idea is that we'd have these tentpole episodes, multi-parters, and within a tier, in theory, we should be able to air those episodes in any order. And we didn't quite manage that because, frankly, I like serialization too much to stick to that plan 100%. But we did pretty well. And the reason for that was back in season 1 or tier 1, we had an episode come back, Enter Macbeth, where that was, from an animation standpoint, such a disaster. We had to hold it, but all the episodes, they couldn't be aired out of order in any way. And what that meant is that since we couldn't air that episode, we couldn't air any of the ones that were ready, even though because they were came later. And we were forced to do a bunch of reruns, and it hurt our ratings, not a lot, but a little. And I think in some ways it probably helped us overall. Not that that was a plan, but people who might have missed one or more of the 5-parter, which aired over 5 days, all in 1 week, they got to see it and get into the story a little more. But in any event, because of that what was considered a big mess up, they wanted to be able to have more flexibility. So within a tier, the episodes in theory were interchangeable, but then we'd have these tent poles. So this Gathering Part 1 and Part 2 were the 4th tent pole, and now we were entering Tier 5. But the big news as we entered Tier 5 was that Hunter's Moon they told us we're not going to do it as a direct-to-video movie. So we decided that it was too good a story to just not do, and too important to the series to not do. So we decided that would be the last 3 episodes of the season, which meant we had to subtract 3 episodes that we had been planning to do in Tier 5. And that meant, among other things, that 2 episodes that were initially separate, one about Vinny trying to hit Goliath in the face with a pie, and another about Wolf and Hakon teaming up to get vengeance on Goliath. Those both had this vengeance theme, and one was highly comedic, and one was supposed to be almost like a slugfest, just pure action. But we thought there are comedic elements to Hakon and Wolf, particularly in the way they interact with each other, which is really about Clancy Brown interacting with Clancy Brown. And so we thought we could have some fun putting them together. So I had to take the Vinny story away from Bryn Chandler and mash it up with Cary's Hakon Wolf vengeance story, and you wind up with the episode Vendettas. And there were other
Greg,
changes.
I can't remember how much of that came from me or what you laid out for me, because the only thing I can hopefully think that was actually mine was the line, "Get an afterlife." That sounds like me, but it might have been
that
you.
Sounds like a Cary Bates line.
Okay.
Such great lines in this one.
Yeah.
I don't know whose line that was, Cary, but it was either yours or mine. So
let's just say it's Cary's.
But we also had The Reckoning was originally going to be 2 parts. That got shrunk down to 1 part, and then we had a story. There was some story that we just had to cut. Trying to remember what it was. I mean, we had a trickster story that Cary did, Possession, and originally it was a multi-trickster story, and we just ran out of time. I still think that was a great idea and would like to do it someday, but we couldn't quite crack it, and we just didn't have time. So we cut the other 3 tricksters and just made it a Huck story, and I think it worked out really well. But someday I would like to do the multi-trickster stories. But the point is that we got to the end, and what should have been like, okay, we're in the home stretch, everything's clicking, and it's like, oh no, big change. Hunter's Moon is now episodes, not a movie. Got to do it on your TV schedule, not the movie schedule that we had originally. And you got to mess up every other episode in the tier, which is a short tier anyway. So suddenly, instead of it being like, okay, we're just rolling along here, it was like panic again. Everything was like suddenly in flux. Everything we had planned was sort of had to be rejiggered and everything. And so it became, shall we say, less relaxed than an end of series coasting in normally would be. Although I'm not sure if I've ever actually been on a series that just coasted in at the end. That's the theory. I don't know if in practice it ever happens. But this one definitely didn't happen.
Nice. All right, and something else that's significant about this episode. Let's talk about the voice direction of this. Jamie and Greg, what happened here?
It was the easiest episode for me, I can tell you.
I wanted to try voice directing. I mean, it's really just that simple. I'd been sitting next to Jamie through 60 episodes or so by that time, or 58 or however many. And never like to admit this, but I admired what he did a lot, but I also felt like I was learning while he did it, and I wanted to give it a try. And but I wanted it to be easy. So I picked this episode with his blessing to voice direct. I say with his blessing, but I was also his boss, so who knows?
He was kind enough to ask how I felt about it.
But it had a very small cast, and it not only had a very small cast, but it had a small cast of regulars and actors, all of whom I knew really well. Ed Asner, Keith David, Jeff Bennett, Jim Cummings, Clancy Brown. I felt the small cast and the
specific
and that they would cut me some slack, that they would like, oh, he's really bad, but we like Greg for other reasons, so we'll let him.
See, this is why I'm terrible at all this, because I would have been like, oh, I'm going to bust his chops, this whole thing.
Well, it wasn't a Demona episode. Marina may have.
Yeah, it wasn't a Demona episode, but although Marina's tough, but she's always been very nice to me.
Yeah, we've witnessed the radio plays. We know.
This was a dream cast, really, for me. And, I was very close to Ed. I'm still very close to Keith and good friends with Jim and Jeff and Clancy. And so it was a lot of fun for me. I do wish that the animation that came back were a little better. I think we got some, as you said, Jennifer, some really great lines and some really great line readings on the comedy. But I don't, we were looking for this really great comic timing to make the Vinny stuff play. And I think the animation didn't allow it.
Some timing in a few spots.
Yeah.
Where the animation didn't sell what you were doing.
There are a couple moments where it sort of works.
Yeah.
I thought the one moment with Vinny where it really worked visually, I thought all Jeff's stuff was really funny. The one moment, which I credit Jeff for, not my voice direction, I credit Jeff. But the one moment where visually I thought it worked is there's this moment where he's climbed up to the window to look in the whatever, that factory floor where Goliath Hudson and Wolf and Hank are fighting. And, he's got the Mr. Carter, the big pie cannon strapped to his back, and it's very heavy. And I will say they did a good job at making you feel like that was heavy. And sometimes in animation, you don't get that. It's just got this big thing and people are just walking around with it, But they did a good job at making it feel it was heavy. And so he starts to wipe off the glass, and then it starts to pull him off and fall back off the thing. And he climbs back up a few seconds later. But I thought, that was actually funny. That timed out well. And I also want to give credit and not blame to Bob Burchard, the late Bob Burchard, who was our editor in most of the great bulk of season 2 episodes. And Bob can only work with the footage he's got, and had very specific timing constraints. We couldn't, if Bob had no timing constraints, he could have made it play much quicker, made the comedy stuff, but we still had to fill X amount of time. I think it was 19 minutes and 30 seconds. And we only had something like 21 minutes or 20 minutes and some weird number. I don't know. So, you could only cut so much. And there was a limit to how much you could cut out of bad footage or slow footage or speed it up. All that stuff was limited because at the end of the day, you still needed X amount of time on screen. These days in streaming, they don't really care as long as you're not ridiculously short. If it goes long, goes long. If it's a little short, they don't care. Just make it as good as you can possibly make it. but in those days for broadcast, that number was exact to the second. And yet we didn't have enough footage to sort of be able to cut tons of stuff from it. And I think Bob did as good a job as anyone could have with what we got back. And if some of those moments do work, I think it's also a testament to what Bob did as an editor.
He's an excellent editor. I know that. So he was.
There's a funny moment where Goliath sort of is, the
punch.
Going back to punch Wolf and winds up hitting Hudson in the face. And then another time when, is it the other way around? Oh, Hudson is coming up on Goliath from behind, and Goliath thinks he's being jumped and turns and nearly hits Hudson a second time. I thought that's kind of funny.
Can I be a little bit honest about that one? And Jen, I'm interested in your take. I remember it was a couple of viewings back in the day before I realized what was happening, because the time, like you mentioned, the timing just felt a little bit awkward on that.
In the second one you're talking about?
Yeah, I think
where Goliath goes to turn to hit.
Yeah,
startles and turns.
It doesn't read as well.
No, it's not great, but I thought it was better than some of the other stuff that was in there.
I mean, there's a few
comparatively
episodes where I'm watching it, I thought, wait, what was it? Wait, what's happening? And then like, back up 20 seconds and watching it. Okay.
Yeah, Coco did the animation. They did some great stuff for us, but this was not one of their better apps. So
before we dive completely into the episode, and Jen, I'm curious to hear your thoughts as well. Introducing or reintroducing Vinny. What do you think of Vinny, Jen?
Whose idea was it?
Jeff threw it out early in an episode, like one of the early episodes.
Well, Jeff used to do it off mic all the time. I don't know why, but Jeff was obsessed with that.
Oh yeah, he would just
Vinny Barbarino.
Yeah, he was just doing his Vinny Barbarino imitation.
I swear.
Welcome back, Cotter. Off mic. Oh, I swear I'm gonna.
So we threw him into like.
Yeah, and so I think the first one he was in was The Cage. I mean, the first real Vinny appearance.
We had like a few lines.
Cage.
Yeah.
And then I kind of fell in love with the notion. It's like the jalapeno story. I'm just like, we got to do something with this.
To say jalapeno in this episode, that's a standout.
Yeah, we got to do something with this, and I think it really was a conversation with Bryn Chandler Reeves. The idea of the schmo, the guy who, one of the things that was important to Gargoyles is that everything is connected, that if something happens, it affects this, it affects that, and in a lot of positive ways, but also, there have to be negatives too. So we thought about this like, well, what about that guy who rode that motorcycle, who was not a named character or anything back in Awakening number 3, right? And so that guy, his motorcycle blew up, and what was he going to tell people? He's going to tell people that this flying creature stole his motorcycle, and then they think, oh, you were drunk, weren't you?
I love that he lost the bike and the license.
And his license.
I'm like, and my license. And Vinny has a lot of great lines like that where it's like, okay, I don't think you're focusing on the big picture here at all, which is great. It was one of sort of his hallmarks. And
it's a great idea.
Yeah, and then so we started looking for things, and I thought about that guy who it's implied in Awakening 4 gets knocked out by Goliath. And I thought, well, but we don't actually see it. So what if all Goliath did was just pissed off, slammed his guy to the wall?
That was funny.
And Vinny just fainted, But in Vinny's mind, he's the hero of his story, right? So, so when he's narrating it over this old footage,
put up a valiant fight.
It makes he sounds like he did all this valiant stuff in all these 3 occurrences, and in the Cage, which actually was Vinny, Severus gets kidnapped basically while Vinny's just reading. Doesn't even notice that it happened.
I lost my job because of that. You believe?
Yeah, And
can you believe it?
Can you believe it? But the truth is that the gargoyles, it is kind of their fault that he lost his bike and he lost his license and he lost his job. They weren't trying to hurt him, but all the
collateral damage.
That was collateral damage. We actually had one more thing that we were going to do in Hunter's Moon, which would have come after this, but we didn't have enough screen time for it. There's a scene in Hunter's Moon where Goliath pulls a hatch off the airship, big metal hatch, and he drops it. And in the original script for Hunter's Moon, you see Vinny walking by, and the hatch slams into the ground inches from him. And it's like, he could have died, but we had to cut that for time. It was the episode was too long, but I thought that would have been perfect. Just, Vinny.
Just like the cherry on the banana cream pie.
After the Vinny episode.
Because then Bob would have had more.
But
that's like a cool idea, the schmo guy.
But then, so
who went on Ed Sullivan after Elvis Presley? That poor person. That's the thing, because he got rebooked years later, and he went on right after the Beatles.
I'm sure someone out there knows.
The original discussion happened with Bryn, but then the episode got pulled from Bryn and mashed in with this one. So all this Vinny dialogue, all the unreliable narration, that's Cary. Greg,
what would the Vinny story have been like if it got to be a standalone episode?
It would have been the same basic thing. We just would have had more. I don't know, because we never got that far down the road on it. But it's the same question you could ask of what would the Hakon Wolf story have been without the Vinny stuff in it. I think it wound up being the right thing to do to merge those two stories. Thematically, they're incredibly similar. And it's all about vengeance, which, as Xanto says, is a sucker's game, right? So the fact that you're teaming this serious story with this completely comedic story about vengeance, and in the end you sort of think, well, Vinny's kind of way more mature than Hakon and Wolf. Like, his vengeance is, I don't need to kill this guy. I just need to prove that I can one-up him once, So I hit him with a pie. I don't want him dead. I'm not that kind of person. And then he walks off humming the Gargoyles theme song.
That part. I'm guessing we chose the Acme thing in the beginning because we were doing like a Roadrunner riff for his art.
That he was the coyote and the Gargoyles were his Roadrunner.
Right. And the guy where he buys the bazooka, whatever, at the beginning, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, he's
Mr. Acme.
Mr. Acme.
Yeah. And back in those days, they let us do that. I mean, nowadays they'd say, "Oh no, Acme, that's Warner Brothers. You can't use Acme." And we're like, "It's a one-shot joke." Nowadays they'd be like, "You can't do that."
There's a supermarket chain here called Acme.
I mean, there's a lot of companies called Acme, though.
Acme is supposed to be like.
And I can all but guarantee you, they would not let you do that today.
Yeah,
Warner Brothers might.
Yeah. Warner Brothers would
Disney,
not.
But Disney doesn't let you parody other properties. They don't even let you parody their own. They're worried that Disney's going to sue Disney.
Exactly.
Of course.
They're always the first to. We would sue somebody over that, so you can't do that.
So, Cary, did you have a good time writing Vinny?
Well, I wish I could say I remember it in detail. I don't. So, true confession, when I was watching this, I guess for the first time in like 28 years, a lot of it seemed new to me, and I was enjoying it. And I'm patting myself on the back. I'm sure Greg had a hell of a lot to do with that. But on balance, I thought it was a good mixture of, like Greg said, comedy and heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that none of the participants know they're intruding on the other character's story until the very last scene. And then, it has that great payoff with the cream pie.
Banana
cream pie, which everyone knows is the funniest pie.
We'll talk about that in detail when we get towards the end, but agreed.
So, okay, here's the thing. Like, I remember watching this the first time I watched it and thinking, because I loved Welcome Back, Kotter. Loved it. But I was sitting there thinking, this is a cute little homage, but no one but someone my age or older is getting this. Like,
well, it's a little wider swath than, I mean, it was a hugely popular show.
1996. It wasn't like, I mean, nowadays, who the hell would know it? But
no,
in 96,
like,
Cotter
went off the air in 79.
Really?
Yeah.
That long ago?
It was only on for a few because Vinnie Barbarino had other movies to make. So he...
Well, Travolta, like, did Grease and then forgot that the phone was off the hook for like 20 years, and then he came back.
I can say one thing. Imagine if in the backseat of that car, Phil Lamar got hit by a pie instead. For those of you out there who don't know,
that might have to be drawn. Okay, I might have to do that.
For those out there who don't know, that's a Pulp Fiction reference.
Cleaning the pie out of everything.
Oh, Phil would think that was hilarious too.
I just love that the character Vinny exists, that it became a character. The fact that he's named Vinny, you know.
I just love that he's just like
just goofing around, and
we've got our big heroes and all the drama that goes along with them, and here's this guy just trying to make a living in New York City and just ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time every time.
And the fact that Mr. Carter...
That was another thing we did. So,
just so...
when Vinny says Mr. Carter, he says Mr. Carter. And then to soothe Mark Concelli, our business affairs guy, we had Mr. Acme repeat it, but say Carter very clearly. And I had to make sure that Jim really enunciated Carter. So it didn't sound... So Vinny, it's like, oh, that's just his accent when he says Carter. It's really Carter. And on the page, it says Carter. Mm-hmm. But when I directed Jeff, I'm like, just say Carter.
I think Jeff probably picked up on it.
And so, you know, and then throughout the rest of the episode, he just refers to it as Mr. C. He calls the gun Mr. C.
It is so classic to name weapons. I mean, in mythology, how many swords
Excalibur,
Sting, Glamdring.
I mean, when I think Mr. Carter, I think about Excalibur. Absolutely.
Yeah. They're clearly on the same level.
Yeah. Both powerful weapons with great...
Yeah.
Destiny tied to them.
There's a lot of tonal whiplash in this episode, but it's in a good way. It's hard to balance that a lot of the time, but I think it's done in a good way. I mean, let's be honest about something also. Among the fandom, this episode has a reputation as some consider it the worst one, and I gotta say this: if this is the worst one, then this show's in pretty damn good shape.
Yeah. I mean, I've never heard anything negative. The show can get so serious, and so it was nice to have the comic relief, the fun episode, and
comedy and action.
And I think the pacing was really good. Right? But I think the pacing was good. Like you rolled from the fight to the funny to the fight to the funny really smoothly.
One thing also about Vinny. So in the first flashback, we just used straight up the motorcycle footage from Awakening 3, right? And he's in a helmet, so you can't really tell, is it Vinny or is it not Vinny? And again, that was created before we had any clue about Vinny, right? Then in the second flashback, or rather the third flashback, is from the cage, and that really was Vinny, so we didn't have to change anything, right? Then you get the second flashback, but if you actually watch Awakening 4, which is where that flashback is come, that guard that is knocked out, or as we showed here, actually fainted, that's clearly not Vinny.
Not Vinny.
That guy looks like Roger Darling from
Dalmatians.
Dalmatians. He's got this huge
nose.
And so clearly, if this were a live action show, what you would have seen is, anytime the shot was from behind, it was Roger Darling. But when you shot it from front, it was like, okay, we got to reshoot that scene now with the actor who plays Vinny in there instead of the actor who originally played the guard. And there's a little bit of new animation in that flashback to show Vinny's face as opposed to the Roger Darling's face. Just a little tidbit of information that you may not know.
Oh, I know what happened to Vinny's nose. I know exactly what happened to Vinny's nose. When Goliath stopped Demona from dropping him out of the airship, she threw him face first into the wall. It was hard, and he got a better nose out of it.
He wouldn't got a nose job.
That's my head canon.
If you incorporated that, it should have been like, I had to have a nose job and everything.
There were two of them. Maybe it was the other guy. I don't even remember it. I have to look. But
no,
I like that.
It was definitely the big nose guy. Definitely.
No, the one that Demona threw, because I forget which one of them it was. But okay. So let's talk about, Jen, what do you think of the revelation that Hakon is an ancestor of Wolf?
I love it. Just like the whole build and attitude and everything that they had, the arrogance and it just those genes were strong.
That was totally my plan, by the way, when we cast. That's why I cast Clancy as Wolf. episodes later.
I love Clancy.
We cast Clancy as Wolf just because he was so damn good as Hakon. I didn't realize this, but
he just told us that.
Yeah, so he sent us a very nice note, didn't he?
Very nice.
Yeah, he did. We invited him on. He wasn't able to participate. He's got some personal stuff going on, but he sent us the loveliest email.
But he also wrote something along the lines of, Gargoyles broke my voice acting cherry or something.
Yeah.
That's right. You're welcome, Clancy, for your career. That's right. For a second, we thought, oh boy, that's... Yeah, I think we found him. I think we found Goliath. Because again, we'd been to casting for a long time and had seen lots of, fantastic actors, a ton. And this guy came in. It's a memorable audition to me because I thought I was genuinely scared. Like he came in character like that. And it was a little tiny audition booth, so he was about, 4 feet in front of me with just a piece of glass between us.
And that's not going to stop the Kurgan.
Don't tap on that glass, man.
He does the scene, and then he's just staring at me like, I said, okay, cool. So, a few notes, and was giving him notes. And as I'm giving him notes, he's just, and I swear, with every additional note in my mind, his blood's boiling more and more and more. And I thought, this guy's going to kill me. And I just, and that's enough. Actually, you know what? Another one for you. Just do what you want. It's great. And I didn't realize it was just because he was really, really in character. But that's the only time I've actually been a little scared. Not that he was literally going to jump through the glass, but that this guy effing hates me. Well, in his eyes, all I saw was, why is this fucking asshole speaking? Why he's still talking? Is he still? Does he
the
think
funniest thing is, like, he's the biggest teddy bear.
We became great friends. He's the nicest guy.
But he's very an intimidating persona.
Well, he's an imposing presence.
Yes. Yes.
The Kurgan, Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, the Kurgan.
Among others, yeah.
Highlander.
I remember seeing him was in Earth 2. You guys remember Steven Spielberg's Earth 2? It was a TV series that was very short-lived, but it was huge budget sci-fi thing. And Clancy was the star. Actually, I guess I saw him in Blade Runner. Blade Runner? Right? Where he's got the slit throat?
Yeah.
Blade Runner? No.
I think so. No.
He's the villain and his throat's, and so he speaks like, it's not Blade Runner, it's...
No, that's Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer, yeah.
What's the other movie that I'm confusing with? Where Clancy was the villain?
Highlander.
Highlander, that's it. Highlander.
Yeah, the Kurgan.
Yeah,
We were
the
talking about the
Kurgan.
Kurgan.
Highlander.
Yeah.
Effing awesome.
I think that was his first movie, was Highlander.
The first episode to be Hakon, you know. And I just remember him as the guy that scared me, you know. When he came in, I was like, hey,
Jamie's wetting himself a little bit every time someone mentions
so
his
much
name.
for doing this. We're so glad you're here. Thank you for doing it. We're really happy. And I'm expecting, like, you know, and instead he's the Clancy that we know, which is just this super nice guy. And he's like, what, are you kidding me? This is what I got into showbiz. My hero, Mel Blanc was my hero. This is what I've been waiting to do all this time.
I love it.
Animation.
Love it too. I mean,
so then we cast him as Wolf just because he was so good as Hakon. We're like, we need a big guy and it's like, okay, Wolf. And then as time passed, I'm like,
it just seems logical.
Yeah. But I did blow something. I did blow something out here that I really have always regretted, which was the axe itself. That should have been the mace that Hakon used to smash the gargoyles, and it would have had so much more resonance.
This is twice we should have had the mace.
Yeah,
in Shadows of the Past, the mace should have been there as well.
Yeah, if I put it in Shadows of the Past, if I just thought of it, and it's one of these things again where the train is moving so fast on these productions, there isn't a ton of time. I mean, I'm amazed at all the connective tissue we did manage to get into the show, but that would have just been so much better in Shadows and so much better here if that mace had run through the Awakening part 1 and 2, Shadows and Vendettas. That would have had real resonance. The axe was, okay, fine, it's a haunted axe. It's battle axe night. That's a funny line.
I love that line.
But you know, if it had been the mace, it's one of the handful of really big regrets I have about the series. It is that it did not occur to me, but until too late, that it should have been the mace, you know, not just any old weapon, but the mace.
But it still works.
Yeah, as fun a line as its battle axe night is, I'm sure you and Cary would have come up with a great line like that for a mace as well.
It's battle mace night. It doesn't have the same.
No, it would have been something else.
It's battle axe night. That's how I'm going to open my rock shows.
Yes, do that. That's what we should have named this podcast instead. It's Battle Axe Night.
No one will ever say that about any night that you're there, Jen. No Battle Axe Night.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've seen you wield an axe at a convention once.
Just once? Stop letting me touch the sharp things.
But no, this is great. A little bit of, I like that conversation that Goliath and Hudson have about why they don't know why New York City is called a Big Apple. If anyone wants to know, I've got it right here. I mean, I'm a New Yorker, and I actually didn't know this until I went and fucking looked this up myself. I guarantee the average New Yorker doesn't know this. But in the 1920s, it was popularized by a sports writer, John J. Fitzgerald, who heard it from some racing stable hands in New Orleans. They referred to the city's major tracks as the Big Apple, just to symbolize the big-time prize, the ultimate destination for success. He adopted that into a column that he wrote around the Big Apple. And jazz musicians started using it as well, and then it really solidified in the 1970s.
Well, duh.
The 1970s?
I would have thought it was way before the 70s.
Yeah, me too.
1870s maybe. But that's
what I found. That's what I found.
I like that, though. The Big Apple. It's a big prize.
The Big Apple. Like I said, the average New Yorker probably doesn't know that either. But it was a fun conversation to have, and it was about damn time they had it.
The Superman movies do a variation
in the Gargoyles Darkwing first issue crossover. I revisit that whole Big Apple
conversation. And Cary, what was that you were saying, Cary?
I think the Superman movies did a takeoff. They called Metropolis the Big Something. I think it was something in the fruit family, but I don't think it was. I think it might have been an apricot or
a big banana,
big pomegranate.
It was something weird. It wasn't that subtle a reference, but they did do a riff on it, right?
Was it lava? Like the big lava?
That's one of the aliens.
Yeah. I won't lie, though. Hakon's appearance at the end of Act 1 was not a surprise to me. I kind of figured it the moment we saw Wolf in Scotland, and then we heard that laughing axe in the police car after they hijack it from that poor constable, who I believe was Jim Cummings.
The constable was Jeff Bennett. Yeah. The construction guy was Jim Cummings.
Gotcha.
Cold medicine. It's got to be the cold medicine.
That's the oldest cat.
Gotta stop.
Like, you see something strange? I'm pouring my water. The jogger does that. He pours his water out because he's like, there must be something in this that's making
when he saw Oberon. He did that when he saw Oberon.
Oberon, yeah.
Okay, Cary, it was the big apricot.
Big apricot.
Okay, I knew it was the big something.
It was the big apricot.
Well, they even kept the egg.
Amazing Google foo.
I got a question about him hijacking the Scottish cop car at the beginning with an axe. He rips into the hood.
He destroys the engine.
Like, I'm thinking he's going to blow out. He's going to split the engine. He's going to. Nope, he's stealing the car. That seems.
If you're going to steal a cop car, put the lights on.
I'm like, well, that's not a very smart thing to do.
It's
you
Wolf.
Want the car.
It's Wolf.
You want it to drive. Doesn't seem like you.
It's Wolf, and Hakon probably doesn't even know what a car is.
Well, that's a good point.
But Wolf knows what a car is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wolf should know that you don't put an axe into.
I also noticed that they didn't. After he's driving away, they only show it from behind, so they didn't have to design the hood with the big dent
accident in it.
One last thing that we don't have to design. I also noticed that when Wolf gets thrown through this into this or knocked right through this metal wall of the
crane.
Oh yeah, where the metal
goes through it, but when you see him from the outside, the sort of how
it's about this thick. If you
no, but it's gone outward. I'm like,
yeah, but it's gone
inward because he went through it. His legs are sticking out, and the sort of blast of the metal is also outward. I'm like, how did he do that? How did he get it to stick out on both sides?
In both directions.
In both directions. How'd they do that?
And you see when he goes through, and you see him in there, and the metal's like.
And let me tell you though, like when Hakon starts laughing and it all falls apart, I know how that feels. My laugh does that to things too.
Yes, it does.
Destroys it all.
Your cackle, your infamous cackle. You could have been hyena.
The
lilting sweet voice that I have.
Can we all agree another time and place if Cree if it hadn't been Cree Summer, Jen could have been hyena?
No, because Cree is way, way too good at that.
Like in real life?
She's like feral and it's awesome.
Like he said. But anyway.
Meanwhile.
I love the 3 slugfests and how they're all different from one another. Jen, any thoughts on those 3 different slugfests?
No, I liked it kept it going. Like that's when you're doing an episode with a lot of action, it's got to be hard to mix it up enough to keep it interesting. And each fight had a different kind of ring to it. So,
Cary, what is it like constructing these?
What's the thing with Hakon says, no, this is how you fight, and he dives underwater, right? And then we see them come out, and then he floats up, like he flies up into the air for one line and says whatever he says, and then they're like, well, since when do werewolves fly or whatever? But how is the real question? But then, unless I missed it, did he fly at any other time in the episode? Was there?
He sort of. He soars around by holding the axe, almost like Thor with his hammer. And he had. It's debatable. The one time that comes before, which in theory is the only one that Hudson sees before he has his line about wolves fly, you could say, well, was he flying or did he just jump? I mean, because we'd already seen Wolf do these big leaps.
Yeah,
so it's not, again, the animation didn't make it quite as clear as you'd like that he was actually flying as opposed to just.
That makes sense.
I have a question for Cary. Cary, so what's it like when you have to write a script with all this action just to keep it fresh and interesting so it's not just characters punching each other on different set pieces?
And you're dealing with Greg Weisman. Go.
I think the, correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but the really thing that helped for the last act was the junkyard as a battle scene, because that gave us a bunch of props we could use in the action.
Mm-hmm.
The compactor, the pile of cars falling on what's his face at the end. I mean, that just made it an interesting arena to have a fight in, so we were able to use the prop.
Yeah, and I think in the second to last fight, or well, kind of second last, part of it is most of it's Goliath fighting Hudson, because Hakon's created an illusion that Goliath is Hakon, or Wolf. I'm sorry, that Goliath is Wolf. And so you have this big battle where Hudson and Goliath are going at it, which changes up what's going on so that it doesn't just feel like the sameness for 22 minutes, right? So you have this fight in the middle where your two heroes are fighting each other because one is under the spell of this illusion.
I will admit I had to back up and look at the beginning of that too. Like, wait, what? How? Why are they fighting? Like, I get it at the end when he says, "Hudson, it's me," and he finally,
yeah, it wasn't quite coherent to me the first time I saw it either. Jen, do you remember how you felt the first time you saw it? Did that confuse you the first time? Also,
I don't remember it confusing me.
It made a great commercial break.
One thing I like about that fight is that it also highlights that while Goliath is a little bit more reluctant to slay his enemies in modern times, I think Hudson is less reluctant.
Oh, yeah. Kill, as it were.
Swinging a sword.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because they're fighting for their lives.
Yeah. But no, the entire final sequence of the junkyard is great also, and the ghost powers, but I love Goliath's disgust with Wolf. There's that line, what would a mutate werewolf know about being a man? That's a great line.
There's a lot of really good lines.
No offense to werewolves, whose werewolves are cool, but Jen, that was in there for you. I know you love your wolves.
I love my werewolves.
Loves me.
I loves me some werewolves.
I wish that's meaningless. I wish that the Hakon, the magical Hakon dialogue, not when when it's just coming out of it, had more reverb,
more of an effect,
something, just to help separate.
Although I gotta say, I felt like Clancy. There's never a line in there where I'm going, wait, was that Wolf or was that Hakon? I always felt like I knew.
Yeah, same.
Clancy is good at that. Embodying something. But even though I knew that's what was going on, I was still like, oh. And it wasn't just for separation. It was, I don't know.
I felt like there was a little effect, like for example, in the police car.
A couple spots.
Yeah, in the police car when they're both laughing. Yeah, I felt like there was an effect on Hakon's laugh.
But was it there?
Right. That's exactly right. But I feel like it's the only spot that it happened. And then after it, it's like, laugh, and then they're both laughing, and then Wolf trails laugh, curtain line, out. But just by himself. So you get like one little tidbit of, oh, there's a laugh with the net, and then it's a single laugh again without it.
Clancy's range has always impressed me. My favorite voice work that Clancy ever did, it was actually on the Venture Brothers. He plays this character called Red Death, and he goes from Mr. Rogers to fucking Satan and everything in between. And it's just, it's
that's a fun character.
Yeah,
he had to have fun with that one.
That's kind of Clancy in real life, though.
Yeah, and he got to kill Misha Collins. Yeah, he got to kill Misha Collins in that one.
Yes, he did. He did.
But
All
still,
my favorite boys in the same show.
Yeah, no, Clancy is just so I never confused Hakon's voice with Wolf's voice. They sound so similar and yet so different.
It's not even just about confusing him. It's
just to make it more clear, like
it just so to feel somehow like he's not a guy standing in the room. It's
he's otherworldly. He's
spectral,
yeah,
otherworldly presence.
Yeah,
I get it.
I got to point this out also. This is Wolf's last episode. He'll turn up again in the comics, but he's totally the embodiment of toxic masculinity on this show, isn't he? I mean, he has this obsession with Goliath that is borderline. It's almost a dick measuring contest at this point.
I'm feeling judged. I don't know how.
I mean, and the funny thing is that Goliath even acknowledges that Wolf is physically stronger than him. And I mean, it's like
he acknowledges it to Hudson, not to.
Yeah,
they never say it to Wolf's face.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
they don't.
No,
nor
he
should
doesn't
he.
need that.
No.
But the best line in the whole show, Hakon, clan slaughterer. That was like, I remember first time I saw that, I was like, oh, that was good.
Well, you have to put in a vote for Getting Afterlife, too.
Getting Afterlife.
Great line.
One of the things I like about Hakon Clan Slaughter, and we've seen that even more since, is that traditionally gargoyles don't have names. They address things by their personal relationship to them. So as far as I'm concerned, Clan Slaughterer, that may as well be this Viking's name as far as Hudson is concerned.
Yeah.
Like American
but
name.
if it had been the Mace, then it would have been even better.
Mace wielder.
Pour one out for the Mace, guys.
Yeah.
F in the chat.
Yeah. So, Cary, Greg, thank you for that line, the Hakon Clan Slaughterer line. I love that, too.
That was awesome. Hudson ain't messing around.
I love that.
Hudson's still a badass, is basically
Yes. I love that Hudson is actually the one that finally destroys Hakon.
Yeah.
I love the device.
Right.
Destroying him in the
that felt right.
Thing.
I think so. Although there is a larger discussion we should have here, because this is one of those points of contention, and
about the pies.
Not the pies. We'll get to the pies. When this episode gets discussed, it's a creative choice. I've come down on both sides of this, depending on my mood, because I honestly see both sides of this. There's a lot of debate over whether or not Hakon should have been brought back for this, and that Shadows of the Past being left alone in that cave in total isolation may have been an even more fit-in final fate for him. Jen, what are your thoughts on that one?
I feel like Hakon is like, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, like, doesn't make any noise. Like, if he doesn't have someone to just boss around or suppress or, oppress, then he's probably miserable. So being alone in that cave probably was, once it was just him, was probably pretty freaking miserable.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like cosmically, spiritually, karmically, yeah, lock him up. But it's a great character. Yeah,
but have you considered?
I see the point. I get it, but you've got the character. Use the character. And to me, the fun of. To me, it's like the fight between Hakon and Wolf is a lot of fun. And it's like, what is that line about Casper?
Riemann Casper.
Riemann Casper, yeah. Just this idea that they're so similar that they can't get along. But I also got little vibes of Archmage and Archmage Plus between the two of them. That Hakon was just like, this guy's related to me.
You're a disgrace to the bloodline. You came from my loins, however many generations, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, Goliath called Thalog an abomination the first time we saw him, and that was Keith on Keith, so...
Yeah. So, I just feel like I get the note, so to speak. I understand it,
yeah,
but I don't really agree with it. I think that, we had a good time with this. If we'd had better animation, I think my tendency is to feel, and maybe this is me excusing myself, but my tendency is to feel is that if we had had better animation, the episode would have been more successful, and the general feeling would have been more, this was so great, and so worth it to bring Hakon back for it. But because the animation is not up to our best, the episode feels more average, and probably in the lower ranks of our stuff from that standpoint. And so the general feeling is, we didn't need this episode, and Hakon was better being trapped in that cave forever. And I get it, I do, but I don't agree. I think it was fun. I think it was worth doing.
I think the best part of this is knowing that Hakon and Wolf were related. I think that was just freaking perfect and hilarious.
From a fandom aspect, I would think that they would like that. Oh, because Clancy, that's fun.
Yeah.
But again, any down talking of this episode, ranking it lower or anything, and I can't emphasize this enough, it has nothing to do with the dialogue direction on this episode.
That was
what they all say.
I really feel good about the dialogue track, not because I directed it, but because I had 5 of the best voice actors in television.
And they are awesome.
Think about that group.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second.
For them to
Edward Asner, Keith David, Clancy Brown, Jeff Bennett, and Jim Cummings. That is a fucking all-star cast.
That is an all-star cast, for sure.
So I feel very good about that vocal track, independent of whether or not I had anything to do with it.
It's like I always say, you want to look like a good director. It's, be good at casting.
Yeah.
Get a really good casting there, and all of a sudden...
And let them do the
work. And then everybody thinks it's over. Only it's not, and we get the best scene in the entire episode. Jen, do you remember your initial reaction to this?
Oh,
the moment the pie hit Goliath. I'm still believing that this was going to be some horrible weapon that he was going to try to kill Goliath, and that just had me believing it the whole time. Yeah. I'm like, oh, he's gonna miss or something, but no, he nails him with a pie.
And the look on Goliath's face, even though he's covered in pie, you can still see
his eyes.
Just like, the fuck?
Yeah, he didn't crack out.
And then what I love is like a Warner Brothers cartoon. Hudson goes crazy banana cream pie, and then Iris is out, which is so not our show ever. But it just seemed really appropriate. That must have been Bob Klein or maybe Frank, but just the decision to go with this really kind of Hudson's practically smiling into camera, and it just.
Couldn't get the rights to the Merry Melodies thing.
That's all, folks.
I love that Vinny hums the Gargoyles theme song as he walks away. It makes me wonder where he heard it, but you can also ask, where did Ox hear the Spectacular Spider-Man theme song in that one episode of Spectacular where they're in the elevator? Either way, both of those theme songs are catchy.
Vinny wrote the Gargoyles theme song. That's
not
you
Carl
didn't know
Johnson.
this, but Vinny's distantly related to Carl Johnson.
Though you never see them both at the
same time. No, it's very true.
Just over at his cousin Carl's house, heard Carl playing. Catchy.
I can't get that out of my mind. I swear.
Feels very victorious.
I'm
going to walk away humming that.
Iris Out wasn't in the script. I'm giving Cary credit for that. I'm thinking
maybe, I don't know. I'd have to dig the scripts out of storage to check, but
Cary, was it?
I really can't remember. All I remember.
Cary remembers.
Yeah. I mean, I've had enough trouble remembering the dialogue, but for me, the thing I remember about this episode was the whiplash tonal shifts, which personally I enjoy wherever I see them. I mean, that might have been off-putting for some people, but I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, me too.
Whiplash in the best way. It's using whiplash to its best advantage.
I will say this. Krusty the Clown is right. When you pie someone, it's funniest when it's somebody with dignity. I mean, I know Batman has been pied. There's an episode of the animated series where Joker causes chaos just so he could give Batman a Christmas present, which is he opens the box and it's a pie in the face. That was Christmas with the Joker. I remember that one now. And you can have 3 people to do it and blows up part of the city in the process, but that's a Joker. I'm pretty sure it's happened to Superman at least once.
I think it happened in a comic, and I have a vague memory that's what Bryn brought up when she
pitched the idea
in the first place. I think making it into a big canon was my idea. But I think
it's like a big bazooka kind of thing.
It's like Jennifer was saying, the whole time you're thinking, this is something.
Yeah, there are all these hints like, it's like, I'm going to get my sweet revenge. Or Mr. Carter really Mr. Acme really billboards, and I guarantee you, whoever gets, this is going to get creamed, and he's being funny, but for Vinny, he's taking it very seriously.
Very seriously.
Gargoyle, prepare to get creamed. And we should talk a little about why banana cream.
Yes, let's.
It's obviously,
it's the funniest.
Everyone knows, the funniest
right, but this came out of an episode of Bonkers where there was a character called Gloomy the Clown, and Dwayne Capizzi, and I can't remember who wrote the episode, but we had this whole debate about, the idea was that Gloomy was a really unsuccessful clown, and that he hated tunes because he felt like he was the funniest guy until the tunes showed up, and the point was that no, you were never funny. You were hitting people with fruit pies. That fruit pies are not a funny pie to get hit with. Cream pies are funny, and so I literally wrote this entire memo, probably a page long, to Dwayne and to the writers saying, no, I'm sorry, but the funniest pie has obviously got to be banana cream pie because it's got bananas in it. It's a cream pie, not a fruit pie. It's a cream pie. Those are funnier. But the funniest of the cream pies is banana, because bananas are just inherently funny. God damn it. And so when I was later producing the show, and I'm like, well, what's the funniest pie? I'm like, I wrote a whole memo about this. It's got to be banana cream.
Literally, did you not get the memo? It's like an argument in the Sunshine Boys. It's words with a K and a G. Those are funny. Yes, banana cream. I would love to have a copy of that memo, man.
I would too. I wish I had.
I would have that framed on my wall.
I would love to read that memo. On that note, let's all be fancy bastards here for a moment. What's everyone here's favorite pie? Jen, what's your favorite pie?
You're not going to believe me. Because it's banana cream.
I considered going out and getting a banana cream pie just to eat while we talk about this, but no one needs to see or hear that.
But my banana cream obsession started with Gilligan's Island.
Yes, they made banana cream and coconut cream.
They had coconut cream pies and banana cream pies, and those are my two favorite pies.
Awesome.
Where they got the cream from on that island, I don't know. But
coconut milk.
Coconut milk.
Yes.
There we go. My favorite, more boring choice. I like Dutch apple.
Dutch apple has the crumble,
yeah, and the sugar and the crumble. Yeah, I like that.
Of the apple pies, that is my favorite.
Yeah. Cary, what about you?
I like Big Apple.
Big apple.
Big apple, yes.
Not Big Apricot?
That's my runner-up.
Okay.
Who doesn't love a big apricot pie?
And Jamie, you?
I have to say, especially if the cream pies for sure. Banana cream, but I also like coconut cream. I also like a combination banana coconut cream pie.
See, that's peak.
As long as we're being fancy, I'm just saying.
That's the way to go. Jamie, you are brilliant. I love you for your mind.
Cream pie adoration.
And Greg, or do you not want to answer? This might be giving cheat codes to the next fancy bastard contest.
I don't mind that, because if they want to bring me pies that I like. The truth is, I am a great connoisseur of many pies.
Yes.
I don't like pecan. It just doesn't work for me. But most pies I like. I love apple pie. I love berry pie. Cherry pie I'm okay with. There are good ones, and there's some that are way too sweet for me. That taste more like cough medicine than cherries.
Like Robitussin.
Yeah. But I love banana cream. I like chocolate cream. There are a lot of pies that I like, but my two favorites, if I had to pick, are probably peach pie or apricot pie.
Apricot.
Yeah, apricot pie is probably my favorite, but it's hard to get. It's hard to find.
I've never seen an apricot pie.
Oh, well, then you have never lived, my friend.
What the what?
I've made one once.
What the?
That's so many apricots one year. We made jams and jellies and pies. And...
Where can one get an apricot pie?
It's tough, but Dupar's used to make it occasionally. But now there's only one Dupar's left, so...
You know what? The lemon cream pie at Chili John's, that is a fine pie, too.
Like the tart.
So...
Yeah.
Next time we have a fancy bastard pie competition, if someone wants to make an apricot pie, I'm not going to tell them not to, just because I know it's my
joking.
favorite.
I thought that was just a smart crack.
Do the people listening know what about fancy bastard and the pies?
Very near.
We'll explain it. Every year at Convergence, Greg does a contest called the Fancy Bastard Pie Contest, where fans are allowed to bring pies, and they give them to the guests. And last time it was Tom as well, and Bridget. I remember Bridget kept only vegetarian, and Sarah. Bridget only would eat vegetarian pies. She actually asked a couple people that were meat any of them before she ate them. But
not a lot of meat in apple pie.
Not a meat in most fruit pies. Butter.
Yeah, she's not vegan. She's just vegetarian.
Yeah.
So, it really originated with me and Chris Jones having a conversation at a restaurant where I'm like, I really like pie.
Who doesn't like pie?
And before I knew it, Chris had organized and then didn't show up to this contest at Convergence in Minneapolis, back then in Bloomington, Minnesota. Now it's in Minneapolis. He's like, you got to judge this pie contest. And I'm like, okay. But I'm sitting there thinking, so I get in my head that I'll try a piece of each pie, because I'm thinking, how many people, I mean, you got to make the pie and you're at a convention at a hotel. How many people are going to be able to bring a pie? So I figured, there's some people who are local, they'll be able to bring it or whatever. We had 23 pies that first time, and I committed in advance to eating a piece of each. And by the way, I am a glutton at a level that most people cannot comprehend. And yet, by pie 21 or 22, I'm starting to have trouble. So the next time we did it, I may be getting the numbers reversed, but the next time we did it, I decided, okay, I'm only going to eat, a little bit of each pie, because I can't do that again. only we had like twice as many pies.
Wow.
And I was like, again, dying by the end. And then a couple people brought savory pies, which in and of themselves might have been good. But when you've eaten the equivalent of 3 full pies, and then someone serves you a chili cornbread pie, which sounds great, and normally I'd be like, I'm in. But after 3 fruit pies worth of pie, that chili cornbread pie, that is hard to eat.
as easy.
And then in this last one, I'm warning everybody because there were multiple judges. It was Tom Adcox and Zara Fazl and Bridget Bacco, and I'm warning them. You gotta pace yourself because I have no idea how many pies are going to show up, and there were like 6 or something. I don't know. It was like suddenly it was like, oh well, this is what I was expecting the first time when we had all these pies. And they made it sound like there were going to be hundreds of pies. I'm like, well, I didn't know.
It's on YouTube. You can see this whole thing on YouTube. It was filmed. We'll share
quality
it.
That's what made me the man I am today.
Moving on from the pies, one of my favorite lines.
Before you do, I just want to throw out. I think it's an excellent idea that next time we do this, pie is involved. We all have.
Well, I'll have a.
And today would have been a great one. And
yeah,
dropped that ball, and that's okay.
That's. Where were you when we were planning this?
Again, was not. I'm just saying.
I'm all for pie. Well,
now that I know that
there's
such a gargoyle pie connection. By the way, I had no idea that this level of intellectual discourse was going to go
on. I think our conversation has been fitting for the episode that we've discussed.
Think Jamie knows us better than this.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean. But Mr. Bashir,
I've only met Jamie in person the one time, but I think Jamie's gotten to know me a little bit through this too. Okay, one of my favorite lines afterwards, right after Vinny walks away, and I swear I've quoted this out of context for 30 years now. It's not even necessarily the lines themselves, it's the reading. Just the way Hudson says, "Who in the world was that?" And Goliath just mutters, "I haven't the slightest idea." I love that. Thank you for that, Jen. What do you think of that reading?
No, just the exasperation.
Hey, like Krusty said, hit a guy in the face who has dignity with a pie. Of course, that's what got him Sideshow Bob, and that didn't really work out for him. But never mind that. So,
well, I'd never fear getting hit in the face with a pie. It'll never.
I don't know if any of you have ever been hit in the face with a pie, but it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
The things you do for Misha Collins.
The things I do for Misha Collins.
But that's a great universally applicable little pair of lines there. Couplet. What in the world was? I want to make that my ringtone practically.
Me too.
And that gets picked up in the journey where Vinny walks off after saving Goliath and Elisa's life, and Elisa's like, "Who was that guy?" And Goliath's like, I never really knew who that was. In other words, it's like Goliath has had this major effect on this guy's life, and has no awareness of it whatsoever.
Really knew ye.
Isn't that the same for you? I mean, how many people have your shows affected and you don't know who they all are? And some of them may have had major effects on our lives. I'm not talking about just people who are crazy enough to do this podcast like Jen and I.
I'm sure the first time Greg walked away from me, he was like, I have no idea what that was.
Honestly, we can say, Jen and I can now say this happened to us at the last Convergence. People who knew us through this podcast and we had never seen kept walking up to us.
I was not ready for that. I was not prepared.
Crazy. The first time that happens, you're like, oh.
I was not ready. It was
so weird. Granted, no one shot us in the face with a pie.
Nope. There's always next time.
There's always next time. Hey, you know what? Not saying here right now. We'll crowdfund something, maybe.
Oh,
if we
no.
raise X amount of dollars, Jen hits me in the face with the pie on camera.
I would pay for that.
Rich, we're comfortably well off.
I would pay to see that.
Oh, I mean,
or the three of us, Weisman, Jen, and I all hit each other with pies.
I dare you.
Okay, so before we share our final thoughts, my final thoughts. I love Vinny. Jen, do you have any final thoughts in this episode?
It was fun. It was just a fun break from it all, and it was just a good time. But my kids at the time definitely thought this was a great episode.
Nice.
Yeah, it hit the target age very hard.
Excellent. And the rest of you, any final thoughts on this episode? Cary, you go first.
I liked it. I think I was getting some flashbacks of maybe semi-remembering I wrote something here and there, but for the most part, it was like a first time for me. Which doesn't say a hell of a lot about my memory, but there you go.
Thank you for the brilliant script. Jamie, any final thoughts on this episode?
It's a fun episode, I swear. Can you believe it?
Yes, we can. Greg, any final thoughts on this episode?
I think it's nice. I think it works as a nice sort of palate cleanser. You know, we had all this big stuff. We had the whole world tour. We had the Gathering and the giant Oberon and this huge battle for Alexander's life and all this stuff. And it's big. And this one is just really off the ground. Goliath is back with Hudson. Goliath is back in the city. We run through these city locations and you don't have to take it all that seriously. And we're going to get into some heavy shit coming up in Reckoning and Hunter's Moon, right? So let's just have some fun here. And I think it's nice in a series as big and broad as Gargoyles was in those seasons to have the ability to throw some variety in there. It's sort of a palate cleanser. I'm very fond of the episode, in part because I did voice direct it, but also I think there's a lot of strong stuff in it. I do wish it had better animation, but I do think there's a lot of really strong stuff in it. And,
yeah, for sure.
I'm very fond of it.
And it's not afraid to take on those cosmological, metaphysical, like, why is it called the Big Apple? This is responsive, like, some things are, humans are inexplicable. Well, he has some kind of serious response like that.
Everything is serious.
Yes. The big pie, the big banana cream pie. Does anyone have anything they would like to promote?
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day. I would like to promote Gargoyles Darkwing Duck. I don't know what issue I'm promoting because I don't know when they're coming out. But by then, I would think at least the first issue is out and the second issue should be coming soon. I've seen finishes of the first two issues and stuff from the third, and the script for the fourth and last is already written and some covers and stuff. I think it's a lot of fun, and I hope it's a big Disney afternoon crossover. It's goofy as hell,
lots although Goofy's not references.
In it. And there are pie references in it, actually. So, so I hope people pick it up.
Good times.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us as usual. Jamie, thank you for coming back on. We've definitely got something in mind for you a little bit down the road. Cary, always a pleasure to talk to you as well.
It's a hitman.
Hate to see you leave with an unfortunate accident.
Cary, thank you so much for tolerating us.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Cary,
my pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Greg, thank you for the show and for everything as well. And Jennifer, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for bringing some humanity to this thing that I can't. So,
oh, is that what that is? I was wondering what that smell was. It was humanity.
She doesn't know it, but I'm actually waving Demona in her direction. I'm kidding. And
Jennifer said it there looks a little like an IV drip. Like she's hooked up to the microphone.
My headphones dangling from the microphone straight into my head.
Is that mic? It's a headphone from my angle. It looks like the headphone's coming out of the microphone. The cord is coming out of the microphone. So the microphone looks like a drip bag.
Yeah. It's just like coming out like straight out.
And yet she's so vibrant and so full of life. All right. And to our fans,
joy beaming on her face.
And to our fans, thank you for joining us as usual, and join us. And hopefully, we're going to have a very strong 2026 as we finish season 2 and head into the comics afterwards. And join us next time for Turf.
Hey, children. Meet me, Sideshow Cecil.
Next.
I have prepared a pie-in-the-face take.
Hal. Ooh. Free comedy tip, Slick. The pie gag's only funny when the saps got dignity. Like that guy. Hey, Hal. Pie job for Lord Autumnbottom there.
Oh, dear.
That guy's a genius. He's gonna change the way we think about getting hit by pies.
Thank you for listening to Voices from the Eyrie, a Gargoyles podcast, powered by the Spidey Dude Radio Network, located at spidey-dude.com. If you like this show, then please listen to Spectacular Radio, based on the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series, which features some familiar voices. You can also find these great podcasts: Clone Saga Chronicles, Make Mine Mayday, Amazing Spider-Man Classics, the Sal Buscema Podcast, and Books of X. All of this and more on the Spidey Dude Radio Network. And please follow us on Twitter at From Eyrie. That's From EYRIE. And join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Spidey Dude Network for more exclusive content. Thank you.
Yeah, well, tonight is Battle Axe Night.